In the spring of 1943, as Allied forces consolidated their gains in North Africa, following the victory at El Alamein and the torching of Rommel's Afrika Korps in Tunisia, the British War Cabinet convened in the underground cabinet war rooms beneath Whitehall to confront a strategic dilemma that threatened to stall the entire Mediterranean campaign. With the Axis powers reeling from their desert defeats, but still possessing formidable defenses across southern Europe, the Allies faced the daunting task of launching the next major offensive to open a second front in Europe and relieve pressure on the Soviet Union, which was bleeding out in the brutal meat grinder at Stalingrad. The obvious target was Sicily, the boot-shaped island guarding the Mediterranean's central sea lanes and serving as Mussolini's logistical lifeline to North Africa. But invading Sicily carried immense risks. Its rugged terrain favored defenders, its ports could be mined, and its population of 4.7 million included fervent fascists and mafia networks loyal to the regime. Intelligence reports from ultra-decrypts at Bletchley Park revealed that the Germans had reinforced the island with elite Fallschirmjäger paratroopers and the Hermann Göring Panzer Division, complete with Tiger tanks and 88mm flak guns repurposed as anti-tank weapons, making a direct assault potentially as costly as the Dieppe raid's bloodbath in 1942. Prime Minister Winston Churchill, pacing the map room with cigar smoke curling around his face, confided to his chiefs of staff that if we announce our intentions openly, the Hun will fortify Sicily like a porcupine, prompting Admiral John Hughes Hallett, Director of Naval Operations, to propose an audacious deception to mask the true objective. The plan, codenamed Operation Husky, aimed to land 160,000 troops on Sicily's southern beaches in July. But to succeed, it required diverting German divisions, estimated at 200,000 men under Kesselring's OB Süd, from Sicily to decoy locations like Greece or Sardinia, thereby thinning the island's defenses and ensuring the invasion's surprise. This wasn't mere wishful thinking. Earlier deceptions like Operation Mincemeat's predecessor, the Trojan horse-inspired body-dumping schemes, had shown promise in fooling the Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence led by the enigmatic Wilhelm Canaris, whose agents in neutral Spain were known to cooperate with British operations under the guise of neutrality. The masterminds behind the deception were Lieutenant Commander Ewen Montagu, a Jewish barrister from a prominent London family who had traded silk robes for naval intelligence, and Flight Lieutenant Charles Cholmondeley, a Royal Air Force officer with a penchant for practical jokes and an engineering mind honed at Oxford. Montagu, serving in Room 39 of the Naval Intelligence Division, had been pondering corpse-based ruses since reading Basil Thomson's novel The Body in the Safe, where a cadaver delivered false intelligence. But it was Cholmondeley's wilder inspiration from Ian Fleming's Trout Memo, a 1939 MI6 document likening deception to fly fishing, that sparked the idea of using a dead body as bait to hook the Germans. Fleming, then a 30-year-old naval intelligence officer and future creator of James Bond, had penned the memo suggesting absurd ploys like faked air crashes with misleading documents or corpses washed ashore with forged plans, ideas Churchill had chuckled over but never implemented until the Sicily crisis demanded creativity.
Montagu and Cholmondeley, meeting in Cholmondeley's cluttered office at St. James's Street amid stacks of dummy documents and model airplanes, fleshed out the concept over tea and biscuits, dubbing it Operation Mincemeat after a mundane Admiralty file name to mask its audacity. The core of the plan was simple yet macabre. Procure a fresh corpse of a man in his mid-30s, dress it in Royal Marines uniform, equip it with impeccable personal effects, establishing a fictional identity, and plant forged letters suggesting the Allies' planned invasions of Greece, Operation Husky's feint, and Sardinia, with Sicily as a mere diversion. The body would be released from a submarine off the coast of Huelva, Spain, a port crawling with Abwehr agents under cover as diplomats, where local fishermen or authorities would discover it, ostensibly from a plane crash, and the nominally neutral Spanish regime under Franco, sympathetic to Hitler, would pass the documents to German intelligence. To sell the ruse, the corps needed a backstory. They created Major William Martin, a 35-year-old officer from the Combined Operations Pilotage Parties, a real unit scouting beaches, complete with a backstory of a hurried romance and bureaucratic frustrations to humanize him. Montagu scoured coroner's records for a suitable body, rejecting those with visible autopsies or family claims, until discovering Glyndwr Michael, a 34-year-old Welsh vagrant who had died in January 1943 after ingesting rat poison, phosphorus-based battleship compound, in a derelict London warehouse off Pentonville Road. Michael's coroner's report noted no relatives and a pauper's burial, making him ideal. His body, exhumed and preserved in a refrigerated mortuary at St. Pancras under the alias Major William Martin, became the Operation Silent protagonist. Cholmondeley and Montagu worked feverishly in Room 39, crafting Martin's identity with forensic detail. A khaki uniform tailored by the Marines' Portsmouth Depot, complete with captain's insignia and a maroon commando beret. His feet in polished boots, and around his neck the identity disc of a real deceased Marine to pass scrutiny. To breathe life into the fiction, they added personal touches, a St. James's Club membership card, a bill from his fictional fiancée Pam, actually Montagu's secretary Jean Lisley, whose photo they used. Letters from Pam scented with perfume, discussing wedding plans. A theater ticket stub for Scene at Evening from Leicester Square. A bank overdraft notice from Lloyd's to suggest financial woes. And a stern letter from his father-in-law about marriage. The pièce de résistance was the briefcase, a tan leather attaché handcuffed to Martin's wrist containing two pivotal letters. One from Lieutenant General Sir Archibald Nye, Vice Chief of the Imperial General Staff, to General Harold Alexander, commander of 18th Army Group in North Africa, casually mentioning reinforcements for Greece and Sardinia while downplaying Sicily. The second from Lord Huey Mountbatten, Chief of Combined Operations, to Admiral Andrew Cunningham, warning of German suspicions but confirming the Greek focus.
These documents, typed on official notepaper and sealed with red wax, were typed by Montagu himself, drawing on real military phraseology, but laced with subtle misdirections, like referencing Husky for Greece and brimstone for Sardinia, to mislead without raising alarms. To ensure authenticity, they consulted handwriting experts and aged the papers with tea stains and creases, even including a humorous postcard from Martin's solicitor about an overdue theater subscription to add verisimilitude. The planning phase extended into ethical quandaries. Montagu agonized over using Michael's body without family consent, later dedicating his book, The Man Who Never Was, to him, while Cholmondeley sourced props from Scotland Yard's prop department, including a waterproof canister lined with dry ice to keep the corpse fresh for the submarine voyage. Security was paramount. Only a handful knew the full plan, codenamed Mincemeat to blend with mundane file numbers, and rehearsals involved testing the body's buoyancy in a bathtub at Montagu's London home, adjusting the life jacket to ensure it washed ashore naturally. By April, With Husky set for July 9, the team briefed Admiral John Cunningham and General Walter Bedell Smith, Eisenhower's chief of staff, who approved despite risks. The documents were genuine enough to fool experts, but contained deliberate ambiguities to trap doubters. On April 19, the corpse, now fully Major Martin, was loaded aboard HMS Seraph, an S-class submarine at Holy Loch, Scotland, under Lieutenant Norman Jewell, who stowed the Callister in the torpedo room amid charts and provisions for the 1,500-mile journey to Spain. Jewell's crew, unaware of the cargo's contents, nicknamed it the Frozen Major, the submarine slipping out under cover of night, evading U-boat patrols in the Bay of Biscay, while Montagu monitored from London, his nerves frayed by the 10-day transit. Meanwhile, Abwehr Chief Admiral Wilhelm Canaris, suspicious of British tricks but pressured by Hitler to validate intelligence, had agents in Huelva like Adolf Klaus, a consular official doubling as spy, primed to intercept any finds. As Seraph approached Cape Trafalgar on April 30, Jewell surfaced in rough seas, his men hauling the canister onto the casing, wrapping the body in an orange life jacket and greatcoat, the briefcase chained to wrist with a regulation handcuff key in Martin's pocket for easy access. At 0400 hours, with a full moon illuminating the swells, the crew slid the corpse into the sea, Jewell saluting as it bobbed away, the canister sunk with weights to prevent discovery. Martin's body drifted for 4 days, currents carrying him to Punta Umbria, near Huelva, where fisherman José Puig Busquets hauled him aboard the fishing boat Calabona on May 4, the stench alerting locals as they towed him to shore. Spanish authorities, under Naval Judge Antonio Mixto, examined the find, noting the military uniform and briefcase, and notified the British Vice Consul Francis Hazelden, a key asset, who feigned concern while alerting London. The body was autopsied by Dr. Eduardo Fernandez del Torno, who ruled drowning as cause of death despite the rat poison traces, a detail the British had anticipated and masked with saltwater bloating. Mixto, sympathetic to Germany, photographed the documents and passed copies to Klaus, who forwarded them via diplomatic bag to Berlin, the Abwehr confirming authenticity through handwriting analysis in Madrid.
Hitler, briefed on May 12 by Canaris in the Wolf's Lair, bought the ruse hook, line, and sinker, ordering the 1st Panzer Division from France to Greece and the 10th Panzer from Italy to the Peloponnese, while Luftwaffe Chief Goering shifted 200 Ju-52 transports to the Balkans, stripping Sicily to just 2 understrength divisions. Ultra intercepts confirmed the success on May 14, a German signal decrypt reading "Mincemeat swallowed whole," prompting Montagu to wire Churchill the party's over. The deception saving thousands in Husky's landings, where paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne glided onto Sicilian fields with minimal opposition, Patton's 7th Army racing to Messina before German reinforcements arrived. Montagu and Cholmondeley debriefed in the war room, their success birthing a legend that outshone even double-crossed deceptions. Michael's grave in Huelva, marked as Martin's, a poignant reminder of the human cost behind the farce. As the body of Major William Martin bobbed in the Atlantic swells off Spain's Andalusian coast on that fateful April 30, 1943, The intricate web of British deception began to ensnare the German High Command, with Lieutenant Commander Ewen Montagu monitoring the operation's progress from his desk in Whitehall's Room 39, where telegrams from British Vice-Consul Francis Hazelden in Huelva confirmed the corpse's discovery by local fisherman José Puig Busquet aboard the Calabona, the stench of decomposition prompting immediate notification to naval authorities under Captain Antonio Mixto, whose examination revealed the sodden uniform, the chained briefcase, and papers identifying the deceased as a British officer washed ashore from a crashed courier plane. Mixto, a Franco-loyalist with ties to the Abwehr through his brother-in-law in Berlin, photographed the documents before notifying the German consul in Huelva, Adolf Klaus, a corpulent former banker posing as a trade official, but actually VMAN 107580, one of Canaris's most reliable assets in Iberia, who eagerly copied the letters using wet tissue paper and diplomatic courier. The forged correspondence from General Nye to General Alexander suggesting Greece's Cape Araxos as the main landing with Kalamata as secondary, while Mountbatten's note to Admiral Cunningham implied Sardinia's brimstone as a feint, all designed to paint Sicily as a diversionary jab rather than the knockout punch of Operation Husky. Klaus forwarded the intelligence via encrypted Enigma traffic to Admiral Wilhelm Canaris at Abwehr headquarters in Berlin's Terpitzufer, where analysts under Vice Admiral Klaus Bonatz cross-checked the handwriting against known British samples, the wax seals against SOE forgeries, and the paper quality against captured War Office stationery, deeming it authentic despite faint suspicions from the unusually pristine condition of the briefcase, which Montagu had waterproofed with wax and silica gel to survive submersion.
Canaris, a resistor plotting against Hitler with the Black Orchestra, but bound by duty, presented the find to General Alfred Jodl on May 12 during the midday OKW briefing in the Wolfslayer, the East Prussian forest bunker, where pine-scented air masked the tension as Jodl relayed the details to Hitler during afternoon tea, the Führer pacing in his simple green tunic, eyes bulging behind spectacles, slamming his fist on the map table and declaring, "The English are cleverer than I thought, but this confirms Greece as their thrust," ordering immediate reinforcements, unaware that ultra-decrypts at Bletchley Park intercepted the signals within hours, confirming Mincemeat swallowed rod, line, and sinker in Montagu's triumphant cable to Churchill. Hitler's directive cascaded through the chain of command, with Field Marshal Albert Kesselring, Oberbefehlshaber Süd in Frascati, Italy, reallocating the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler from France to the Peloponnese, its 150 Tiger tanks and 13,000 troops shipping out from Le Havre on May 15, while the 6th Panzer Division followed from the Eastern Front, pulling 200 Ju-87 Stukas from Luftflotte 2 to cover Greek airfields, leaving Sicily's defenses under Italian General Mario Roata's reluctant command with just the depleted 15th Panzer Grenadier Division and coastal battalions, their 88mm guns repositioned from Syracuse to Patras under the delusion of an Araxos landing. Mussolini, briefed by his SIM intelligence service, concurred, shifting the 16th Motorized Division to Sardinia and mining the Strait of Otranto. His coastal batteries at Catania refocused northward, while Sicily's mafia networks, already anti-fascist after years of repression, provided scant intelligence resistance to the Germans, further blinding Kesselring to the real threat.
Montagu, sweating in his office as Spanish delays mounted, Mixto holding the briefcase for 10 days under claims of protocol, orchestrated Halcyon's protests through diplomatic channels, the Foreign Office pressuring Madrid to release the originals, which arrived in London on May 13 via diplomatic bag, sodden but intact, with German fingerprints confirmed by Scotland Yard forensics, proving the Abwehr had photographed them. The deception's genius lay in its psychological layering. The letter's casual tone, Nye's note mentioning CIGS, Alan Brooke, feels our forces are insufficient for Greece, mirrored real British frustrations over troop shortages, while the overdraft notice and Pam's love letters added emotional authenticity, convincing analysts like Alexis von Rohn, FHW's Freim de Heere West chief, who dismissed doubters by noting the document's consistency with double-agent reports from Juan Pujol Garbo, the Catalan spy running the 20 committee from London, whose network fed the Germans conflicting signals about Husky's scope. By late May, German movements accelerated, with Rommel, recently recalled from Africa, taking command in Greece, fortifying Corinth with minefields and concrete pillboxes, his 10th Panzer arriving June 1 to bolster the 1st Mountain Division, while in Sardinia, the Hermann Goering Parachute Panzer Division dug in around Cagliari, its 50mm Pak 38 guns overlooking beaches misidentified as Husky's targets, stripping Sicily to 60,000 Italians of dubious loyalty and just 30,000 Germans under General Walter Warlimon's watch, their Siegfried Line-style defenses focused on the wrong islands.
Churchill informed via secure line from Algiers, where Eisenhower coordinated Husky, quipped to Montagu, "Your dead major has done more for the war effort than many live generals." The Prime Minister's approval spurring the XX Committee to amplify the ruse with radio traffic, simulating Greek buildups and dummy landing craft towed past Gibraltar toward the Aegean, fooling reconnaissance Ju-88s that photographed the evidence for Göring's Luftwaffe. As June dawned, Allied planners in Algiers, General Walter Bedell Smith poring over beach reconnaissance from HMS Hillary's Copra boats, with Special Boat Squadron commandos scouting Gela under Italian noses, confirmed the diversion's success. Sicily's airfields at Comiso and Gerbini, lightly patrolled by Maki C-202s, while 200 German Ju-52s relocated to Eleusis for Balkan paratroop drops, leaving the island's radar at Monte Cronio unmanned and coastal guns under strength. Montagu's team monitored German reactions through Ultra, intercepts showing Kesselring's frustration with Italian reluctance. Roata's troops are unreliable for beach defense, prompting more Wehrmacht deployment to Greece. The 305th Infantry Division sailing from Naples on June 10th, its artillery earmarked for Araxos, while Sicily's 206th Coastal Division, mostly elderly reservists, manned pillboxes with obsolete 75mm cannons, their ammunition shortfalls unaddressed amid the misdirection. The climax came on July 9th to 10th, with Husky launching under cover of Gondola, a diversionary raid by 1,000 RAF bombers on Pantelleria that surrendered July 11th, masking the real armada of 2,590 vessels and 160,000 troops assembling off Malta. Montgomery's 8th Army and Patton's 7th, steaming from Bizerte under Admiral Andrew Cunningham's fleet, its battleships HMS Nelson and Rodney shelling Cape Passero at 0245 July 10th to simulate a Sardinian feint. At 0330, the first waves hit beaches from Licata to Gela. The 1st Infantry Division under General Terry Allen wading ashore at Gela against light machine gun fire from Italian coastal troops who surrendered en masse. Their Fiat Ansaldo M1340 tanks reversed against American Rangers, while airborne pathfinders from the 82nd Division, Colonel James Gavin's paratroopers dropping in Horsa gliders, seized Ponte Olivo airfield with minimal casualties, their cricket clickers signaling Liberty ships amid the citrus groves. Montgomery, aboard USS Monrovia, watched the landings through binoculars, his Shermans churning onto Red Beach with naval gunfire from USS Brooklyn, silencing Italian 149mm howitzers at Licata. The operation's surprise yielding just 275 Allied dead on D-Day versus Dieppe 4,000. The deception ensuring Kesselring's reserves, the 15th Panzer Grenadier, committed to countering non-existent threats in the northeast, allowing Bradley's 2nd Corps to push inland unopposed. By July 11th, Syracuse fell to British commandos with barely a shot. Waveland's 13th Corps capturing 11,000 Italians, while Montgomery's Highland Division seized Augusta. The port's cranes intact for unloading 600 tons of supplies daily. Patton's drive to Palermo on July 22nd encircled 100,000 Axis troops in a pocket at Messina, where Luftwaffe Ju-88s bombed evacuation ships, but too late to stem the tide. Mincemeat's impact echoed beyond Sicily. Hitler's Greek fixation delayed the 1st SS Panzer's recall until August 4th, too late for Salerno, and forced Göring to divert 200 fighters to the Balkans, weakening Italy's air cover as Badoglio's coup on July 25th toppled Mussolini. The Gran Sasso rescue by Otto Scorzini's glider commandos, a futile gesture as German divisions rushed south. Montagu, debriefing in the cabinet war rooms with Cholmondeley and Fleming, learned from Ultra that Canaris had vouched for the documents personally, his Abwehr blindsided by the ruse that saved 10,000 lives in Husky's first week, the operation's success birthing a template for D-Day deceptions like Fortitude, where dummy armies and double agents fooled Rommel into expecting Pas-de-Calais landings. Post-war, Montagu's 1953 book, The Man Who Never Was, pseudonymously serialized in the Sunday Times, revealed the story, though censored by MI5 to protect sources, earning Glyndwr Michael a headstone in Huelva's cemetery reading William Martin, R.M., died April 24, 1943. His real name inscribed privately in 1997 after Ben McIntyre's research uncovered the vagrant's tragic life, a Welshman crushed by depression after his mother's death and factory layoffs. The legacy endures. Fleming drew on Mincemeat for Bond's corpse tricks in From Russia with Love, while modern PSYOPs units study its human elements, the love letters that convinced skeptics, proving deception's power lies not in technology, but psychology. Hitler's belief in Martin's fiction costing the Reich its Mediterranean grip and hastening VE Day by months, a testament to British ingenuity where a pauper's body outwitted an empire.